Hi there, today I'm going to share with you one of the key insights that I got on my personal insomnia recovery journey that helped me tremendously in speeding up the whole recovery process. And this insight I received, or I got it, not in the beginning or in the middle of my journey, but way in the end. And this is something that, the first part of the journey usually begin with learning about sleep, learning about insomnia, understanding your sleep efforts, understanding how our anxiety works, how to work with that anxiety. So you spend some time practicing, and you start noticing some moments of feeling relieved, and then fear comes back again, and then this kind of fear goes down a little bit. That's when we start sleeping better, and so on. So it's kind of like a wavy process, but then in the end it gets very long, and you feel like you're kind of hitting the plateau. You see that there is still happening those kind of speed bumps, the moments when we start sleeping worse, and then we go up again, but then again it happens and brings a lot of frustration. So I've been in that kind of state for quite a long time, and there was still like a piece of the puzzle that I needed to get so that I can kind of break that pattern. And the key to breaking that pattern lies in this kind of statement: take your success for granted. So I know this is very counterintuitive and not very kind of popular maybe formulation of meeting your how you meet success, but the truth here is that the moment when we begin to sleep better, usually we react to it with a lot of joy, happiness, gratitude. We feel like, okay, life suddenly finally starts getting better. We understand what is happening and so on. So we begin to really feel good about it. And there's nothing wrong with feeling good. I'm really happy for, whenever my clients write me that they start sleeping well and they begin to kind of say how hopeful they are and so on, and I'm super glad for them. But at the same time, knowing how the tricky path is, I also see that in that rejoice there is already a seed of that misery that will happen inevitably in the future when they start sleeping less. So the way how we react to those success can tremendously impact our journey, what happens next. So if we react to, let's say, we didn't sleep at night, and then we react to it with a lot of kind of frustration, self-judgment, and so on, we are not really helping this journey. But the same is valid for good nights, when we sleep well and then we begin to kind of celebrate it. We begin to feel good about it, tell everyone about it, and so on. And to me, it kind of looks this kind of picture, when you get on the surfing board, when there is a wave, and then you kind of get on the board and you start feeling the wave. You feel like you're getting in control, and one night goes really well, and second night goes really well, and so on and so on. You feel like, okay, I must keep that, standing on that board. I should keep surfing on that wave. And I've never surfed myself, but those who know probably will tell that every wave inevitably ends, and at some point you will have to get into the water. And this is exactly what happens, that the moment when you start kind of trying to balance on this wave, trying to really keep that pace and maintain that celebratory mindset, this is already the beginning of the end. So it's already leads to that kind of defeat, or when we begin to sleep less. And to give you another maybe visual analogy, think about this sign, this yin yang, where it's black and white sides that are never kind of crossed, but at the same time they're part of the same thing. And then in each of those parts there is a drop of the opposite color. So that means that every time we celebrate, there is already a seed of that misery, and in every misery there is a seed of that celebration. So as long as we stay attached to those two reactions, as long as we keep having those reactions, we will keep being in that kind of vicious cycle. And while it is very difficult to control our reactions in a way of, it's difficult to control anxiety. In fact, it's impossible to control, you know, your emotions like directly, and thoughts and so on. But what I find more kind of available to us is how we meet those success. So taking things for granted will not really kind of devalue your, you know, your journey, but will teach the brain to see night or see your sleep as something that happens on its own, something that doesn't really deserve our attention. It doesn't need problem solving. We don't need to figure it out. It just happens on its own once we just put our hands off it. And this kind of attitude towards sleeping better, you know, being completely unattached, being not surprised, not impressed by this result, is something that can show the brain that, you know, buddy, you don't have to really chase that. It's nothing really important. Nothing big has happened. It's you know, I have a right to have those nights, and you know, I had a good night, so this is it. It's neither good, neither bad. It was just a night. I feel fine. That's all that matters. And once you begin to change this kind of narrative from this kind of celebration, oh, I finally got it, I finally feel hopeful and so on, towards something like, yeah, I slept, whatever. This is when the pattern starts breaking. It will not happen like directly overnight, but it is the beginning to that kind of closure of the whole insomnia story. And if you think about times when you personally, you know, before insomnia, when you had like good nights, did you actually celebrate them? Were you rejoicing? And my guess here would be probably not. So we can get back that kind of like reaction to our daily lives and start looking at our, you know, at our nights slightly differently and reacting to it slightly differently. Let me know if this made sense in comments, and I would really appreciate if you subscribe to my channel and share it with others who might want to learn about insomnia and how to recover. And again, as always, want to thank my Patreon supporters, and if you feel like supporting this channel as well, you can do so. I will provide link in the description. And thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.